Basically, I'm going to be explaining this plagiarism project, and this is for people who did not really or were not able to come to the tutorials to get any feedback on your submission. For the plagiarism project, basically, you were supposed to download the PP master document. So this is the PP master document. This is a summary that I did of the reading that you had in week 3, which was Rebecca Nathan's article on classroom life. And so this summary, and as in all summaries, it starts off with a sentence here that is basically the citation for this article. You know, it gives you the author's name right here. It tells you the name of the book, the article, and it gives you the main point of the whole reading. Then following this, there is a lot of sentences that are basically talking about what is in the article. So, and at the end, you see there's also another citation here. This is the full citation of where that article is located. So there's only really 2 citation references in this whole thing. Everything in between is a report from me about that article. And so everything in here is there is nothing that is original to my thoughts. I'm just reporting on what the author said in her article. So for you to commit plagiarism, and you have to create 10 plagiarized items in here, 5 styles of that. If you change the words in here to some other words that are, just instead of like Nathan mentions something, it said Nathan said, that's not really changing anything, because this basically is your summary and your words, and your changing anything in here is your artistic choice, okay? But plagiarism is basically taking something from the original article and not giving proper credit for it. So in the case of, let me go back to the plagiarized thing. So in case of, for example, like number 4 here, missing citation, or number 5, missing quotation marks. Let's just say missing citation in the beginning. So if you're talking about missing citation, the easiest way to do that would be to take this beginning sentence here, and instead of all of this information that points to whose work it is, Rebecca Nathan's, you just change it to like she, or something like that. Is that working? Yeah, there you go. So she describes the international students. Okay, so that would be a problem, because this is not giving proper credit to the author, and that would be missing citation. And then if you did something like this, you would highlight this, and then in Microsoft Word, you want to insert a new comment. And here you would say, this is plagiarism type 4, right? Missing citation. Oops. And that's how you put the notes in there. Okay? The other way, the easy way to say missing citation would be to go down to the bottom and, delete this thing right down here. Because that is the full reference for the article. And if you deleted that or changed anything in it to make it not complete, that would be a plagiarized item. You're not giving the full citation. So let's just delete it. And then let's also insert another comment. And we would also say type 4, missing citation. Okay? So that takes care of our first 2. There is one other way that you could actually create a citation problem. Okay? And that would be to take a sentence from the original article and put it in here that it would, to replace something or to add something, and then not give credit for that. So let's see how that would work. So let's go to the original article. Okay, over here, this is Nathan, okay? And here's the original article. I have actually highlighted things, here in blue, in red, and I put numbers there to show you that on the PP master, here's the master document. For example, this first paragraph right here, number 1, that all comes from this section you know, where it says 1 in the original article. Okay, so I was writing a summary, squeezing down and making it a little bit more brief and telling you what she said basically in this section. And the same goes for part 2 here. This second paragraph right here is basically from the original article over here. You know, starts here, although American professors in American classrooms. So that would be the second section, and so on. Okay, so that's just so for your reference that you can see those a little bit more clearly. Now, let's just say, for example, in the original article, I'm going to take this sentence right here. Teachers think helping students is their job. And I go, that's on page 78 of the article. I say, oh, I really like that sentence. I want to use that sentence in my summary. So teachers think helping students is their job. I would go back to the PP Master article that I'm trying to create the plagiarism things in, and I would find a place where I could put this. You know, I'm thinking students from various countries confided in her comings and goings. Let's just put it right after this. So teachers, what did it say again? Teachers think helping students is their job. Teachers think helping students is their job. Okay? And you would normally put quotes around this. Sorry. And then you would put page 78 to give credit, period there. You put quote at the beginning. And this is the way that you would normally do this. If you wanted to use an exact sentence from the original article, you would take it like that, quote it, and because this is a summary, you only need to put page 78 because we know that everything in this summary comes from that article. So we don't have to put the author's name or the date or the year as it shows you in that example under the plagiarism assignment. But so this would be a correct thing. There's no plagiarism here. However, if you took away this last part, page 78, okay, that would be plagiarism because you're not quoting it or referring to the exact place where you got it. This is, you know, one more way that you could create that type 4 missing citation. You're going to learn more about this giving citations in text in the 1902 class. One more thing with this quote here, you know, and another thing is very similar. If you take away the quotation marks, you know, let's take those away. Now, this sentence is copied from the original article, and you're putting it in your writing, which all of this is your writing, but you're not giving credit to the author who actually wrote this sentence. So this would be missing, well, this would be, okay, I'll show you a type. If you go back to the plagiarism assignment, we have these 4 types, or 5 types, right? This could be also an example of too many of the same words because you're copying them. It could be missing citation because you don't have that page number there. It could also be number 5, missing quotation marks because you didn't give proper, you know, grammatical reference to that these are not your words, okay? Now there's one more thing we could do with this. Let's go back to the sentence. And let's just say that I like this sentence. I want to put it here, but this I don't want other people to think that I stole it, you know, from the original source. So let me change a few words. Okay, so instead of teachers, I would say professors. Okay, and instead of helping, I'm going to say assisting. Okay, now the sentence says, professors think assisting students is their job. Now the question is this good? Is this okay? It's a short sentence, so I don't think anybody's going to complain. However, in the long run, what you are doing is you are stealing the sentence, changing a few synonyms, making, you know, putting them in there, and then saying it's your sentence. And that would be actually this number 2, okay? You're paraphrasing, but you're taking the same structure and you're just replacing it with synonyms. So that would be a plagiarized problem. You don't want to do that. You want to say things in your own words. You don't want to copy and then change a few words, okay? So that's an example of number 2. Number 3 is pretty easy. Number 3 is misrepresentation of textual ideas. What that means, let's go back to our document, is, for example, and I'm going to say something really simple here, but you could do this anywhere. You're changing the meaning of what the author actually said. So let's take this sentence here. Okay. Nathan mentions that course content in the States was not viewed as very challenging overall. Well, if you said, let's just say, instead of very, you say it slightly. As slightly challenging overall. That's really a misrepresentation of what the author originally said. I think the author is referring to this as very challenging. You could also keep the very there. You could also just do something that's as simple as Nathan mentions that the course content in the States was viewed. Take away the not, and that's completely the opposite of what Nathan was saying. So this right here would be, and we're going to try this again, you're going to be inserting a comment, and I can't remember what type that was here. This was number 3, misrepresentation. So we would put here type 3, misrepresentation, okay, of author's ideas, okay, or of textual ideas, either one. So that's basically what we want you to do. We want you to create these plagiarized things, put the comments on the side, and then upload that to the first Dropbox for the group. Okay, so that is pretty much what we're looking for. Now, there are a couple of things in this article here that I wanted to point out. Some of you may have said, "Oh, okay, here Gary put quotation marks." Okay. And if I take away those quotation marks, that's going to be a case of plagiarism with no quotation marks, right? Which we're talking about type 5 down here, right? However, that's not true. Okay, let's go back. These quotation marks right here is just a way for us to say the chapter. We're emphasizing. In a lot of different cases, when you're putting a title of something, or a chapter title, or an article title, sometimes people will underline things, sometimes they'll put quotation marks, sometimes they will put italics or capital letters, different ways to do that. But this is not a case of a quotation. Similarly, okay, down below here, there's other places that I do this too, like elementary school students, I put quotation marks there. Actually, in the article, let's go back to the article. Over here, the elementary school, talk was down here. They were saying it works in some ways. It's like elementary school or grade school, but they didn't really say elementary school students. Okay, so I use those words, and it's not a quotation from the author, but it's just something that I wanted to emphasize here. Okay, so elementary school students. So I put quotation marks around that to emphasize it. So that's not a case of quotation. Same thing goes down here for mystery. Okay, when they say some students mentioned that grades in their home countries were a mystery, that comes from, let's see, where is that? Down here, right here. It says, we don't know what we're getting for a grade in my country. Well, I chose the word mystery, and I wanted to explain that here, but I wanted to emphasize it, so I put quotation marks around it. So that's kind of what we're talking about. One more case here, entertainer. Okay, the writer went on to show that some international students thought of the teacher, as an entertainer here in the States. Go back to the article. That would come from down here. They said teaching in America is like a one-man show. One-man show, and down here they said entertainment. I guess down here they said entertainers. So, you know, I will say, okay, that might be borrowing from the reader, from the author. So that would be a case possibly, if you take away these quotation marks, that would be plagiarism because I'm borrowing and taking her word. But a better case of that would be down here. There's two words that I used from the author. One here is called boundaries. You know, what does it say? It starts off, it says, additionally, one Japanese student mentioned that the individualism in the U.S. was a factor that benefited U.S. students in knowing their boundaries and enabled them to negotiate the demands. Another one here, negotiate the demands required to function in group work, okay? This comes from right here in this sentence. Only American students, she suggested, would have the necessary boundaries, okay, that's her word, and a sense of their own preferences to be able to negotiate the demands of a group project, okay? So she used these words. I liked these words. So in my summary, I used them to. So these are words that were borrowed and they're quoted from the original article. So if you took away these quotation marks, that would be basically plagiarism. That type. Which type am I talking about? So here's plagiarism. So that would be the number 5, missing quotation marks, plagiarism. Okay? So your goal, and I'm going to stop there, but is to create those kinds of 5 types of plagiarism, 2 of each, you know, in this document. Okay? Because again, I just want to emphasize that we go back to this document. If you change words in here, not based on the original reading, but just change the words, you know, for example, if you said others from Asia thought, and you changed, oh, I'm going to go change this to say others from the East, okay, thought, that's not plagiarism. This is just changing the words in your summary, okay, because these are basically your words. Reporting about the original article. So I want you to clearly understand that you have to change the words based on the original article. Okay, and so if you've made mistakes in these kinds of areas and now you understand, go ahead and fix your document. Upload it one more time to that small group Dropbox, the first one that we had for the tutorials, so that we have the answer key there for what you're doing, okay? And I will always look at the latest upload from you for that. Now that you've done this, and hopefully you understand this, let's go back to this document of the plagiarism assignment. And so let's just assume now you've had the tutorial with your instructor. So now number 6, you're going to make a copy of this master with all of your mistakes. But this time you're going to take away all of the highlighting. Then you will name the document with your last name, first name, and then PP1, which stands for Plagiarism Project 1. For example, if your name is Wang Zhengyu, that would be it right here. Then you're going to put this into the PP Draft to Peer Dropbox. And let me show you what that Dropbox looks like, okay? So here, right now, this is the Dropbox, the Plagiarism Draft for Tutorial group that you submitted your document to with the plagiarized items and the highlights. But I have another Dropbox that today, you know, you should put yours in there. And inside here, these will be unhighlighted copies only, but leave the problems. Now everybody can see this Dropbox. And it's important that you put your last name, your first name, and then PP1 there so that when I assign a peer to you today, you can go to this folder, find their document, download it, and then you're going to be acting like a teacher to actually find the plagiarism and put some notes on it for this last assignment. Let's go back to the plagiarism assignment. So first upload it without highlighting, no highlighting, okay, to that second Dropbox. Then, if you noticed, if you go down past these guides to plagiarism, you will see this week's Plagiarism Part 2. And here, you download the draft of your peer. I will give you a list of the peers today. okay, of who is doing whose. Then read the paper from your peer, and you should identify the 10 plagiarized errors. Okay, and then use the word insert new comment and put your comments on the side to give these comments. So in the margin comments, you're going to be saying, oh, you have this kind of plagiarism here. For example, like you copied the exact words and you did not use quotation marks. And you should also give advice on how to fix it. So the solution, for example, like this. Then at the end of the document, you want to put, just like a teacher would, you want to write just a few sentences to explain to them why those things are a violation. And you should refer to the section in the OSU Code of Student Conduct. And let me show you that. This is the OSU Code of Conduct, that long article. But only really one section applies to this. And that would be under this part here, academic misconduct. And number 4 would be, submitting plagiarized work for an academic requirement is a violation. Okay, and so this is the exact phrasing of those laws and rules at OSU. Tell them, if they disobey this, this is something that they could get kicked out of the university for. So it's a serious matter. Then you should also tell them how to use, intellectual property. It takes time, and say there are ways to get help. You should tell the student where to find help the next time. And one of the cases would be go to the writing center, talk to one of the writing associates, or create an appointment so that you can get some help. You can also look up some interesting websites on Google, to suggest to them to go to that would help them to understand plagiarism. Okay, so that's what you would do. And after you've done all of those things, you're going to save your comments to another Dropbox, which I will create, your last name, your first name, and this will be PP2, Plagiarism Project 2. Submit it to this Dropbox for your grade. This is the major grade for this assignment. And then you should also post screenshots of these to your website, to that page. Now let me show you an example. You can find example assignments in the content area, okay, under sample assignments, and here is the Plagiarism Project. So they have 3 here, but I'm going to show you one from my previous class. Okay, here's their Plagiarism Project. Okay, good. So in this case, in this student, they put screenshots of what their comments were. Okay, here if I click this up, you can read it a little bit more clearly as to what the comments were. All right, so that's basically what you need to do. So hopefully this video will help you to understand a little bit, to change some of the things that you made, put your final highlighted version with the answer key of all the things that you made. And the website that you are actually going to post your screenshots of will be not your paper, but your peer's paper with your comments on there, okay? So consider this your tutorial if you have not met with me, and please make those changes, okay?